Hello everybody, my name is Nexus, and tonight I got a special treat for you. And if you can't tell by the name of the video, somewhere, I'm not very keen on exactly where they are yet, but I am going to be reading to you a book, The Martian, and this will probably be episode 1, because I'll go over it at the end of the complete series, but I don't want it to be, me reading this whole book to you in one night. I'm thinking, maybe, 30 minutes or so, or at least 2 or 3 chapters. Just depending on how I feel. I will be reading this probably over the next couple weeks, because I don't want to do it all, like, today, tomorrow, so on and so forth. Because today is Fan Book Friday. Yeah, Fan Book Friday. So, I'm a fan of this book. I like it, and I will read it. So, I'll do this for a while, and then I'll find another one. I'm not sure what one yet, but this one is the first one I will start with. And just so you all are clear, I do vape. So, I will be doing that in between. Every now and again, I'll, like, at the end of the chapter, I'll talk about it. And you can always skip that part, if you want. Just skip ahead a little bit. And I will be, talking ahead of that. But, it's just, let's have fun with it. I will try to have fun with it. And fucking headset. I try to make my hair look so good for the video, but, it never works. That's why I have a comb. Shit. That just proves my point. You never look as fucking great as you do. Unless you don't wear a headset. I wear a headset. Everyone that started out probably wore a damn headset. So, that's how it's going to be. My name is Nexus. I already covered that. Shit. Let's see. Let's not do the intro again. Let's get straight into the book. So, if you've seen the movie, it was a good movie. At least it was for me. Matt Damon played a great Mark Watney, and that's who the story is about. It's about Mark Watney. And, of course, he's trapped or stuck on Mars. That's why they call him the Martian. And if I was in NASA and I got stuck on Mars, I would want to be called the Martian. Now, when I watched the movie and I read the book, I already read it. But I'm reading it again for you guys, if you never read it and want to hear it instead of reading it for yourself. But it was a good book, and there was a lot that they left out. Well, not a whole lot, but a good portion of it. And there's stuff in there, I wish they would put on instead of, just skipping over it. Like, I feel, to me, that they should have went with the book. Like, use the book as a script, did exactly the book, but, that not everybody can do that. And, make it great. See, I'm not bad-mouthing the movie. I love the movie. In fact, I'll do a complete review on it later. Because I got it. Where the hell do I have it? It's on the rack somewhere. I'm pretty sure I have it. Where the hell did it go? Mark? Are you lost again? Mark? Mark? Well, screw that, I guess. I guess I'm not going to be finding the movie here in a little bit. I have no idea where I put it. I could have swore it was on my top part of the rack, but apparently not. And I will be doing that. Every video review I'll do will be on the rack. And the rack will change, but that's different. That's for later. That's tomorrow. And I'll be doing TV shows too. Because I have, I have TV shows on there. Let's get into it, shall we? Oh, hell, I just realized. I can do those on here. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. Let's break into it. Completely. Because I will talk about it, and, I mean, this is the beginning of the series for this. The book reading about The Martian. So, and yes, my book's kind of tore up. Because, I was in high school when I got it, and when I wanted to get away from everyone, that's what I did. I'd sat in the room, in the back of the corner, and I'd read. I read it in lunch. I read it in my truck. I read it at night. And if you want to escape, I recommend books or music. Because I love music, and I will be doing reviews on those later. And I love reading, depending on what it is. And since I can't show you, everything, and there's no pictures in this book at all. You have to do imagination. See, there's no pictures. So you got to do your little imagination. And it's been a while since I read it, and it's been a while since I watched the movie. So it's good. It's good. Now, I will eventually watch the movie, and I will have it on here, and I'll use my OBS to record some parts. And I'll do it with my other videos too. I'll record a little bit of it on here. So I'm not always going to be, I'm not going to plagiarize it and show everything. I'm just going to have a little bit, like a little chunk here, little chunk there, little chunk over there, just that kind of stuff. So instead of talking about what we're going to be doing and what we're going to be reading, I'm going to jump into it. Oh, I just realized it says major motion picture on the book. God, I need a bookmark. I have one here somewhere. Where the hell did I put it? Well, screw it. Then I will find it in a little... No, wait, did I put it in there? No, I put it in here. I have my own shelf. Like, I have my own filing cabinet over here. And it's where I keep things. And I have parchment paper, other paper, drawing paper. I don't really know. Paintball gun. Never know when you're going to need that. Oh, buddy. Sticky notes are great. I'm going to keep those out. For the sake of argument, even I can't find my bookmark, I'm going to use one of these. Little note card. And if you are a real book reader, like me and a lot of other people, anything makes a good bookmark. If it can fit in between a page and tell you where you left off, it's a good bookmark. I've used strings. I've used, and this is probably going to sound ridiculous, I have used $100 bills, and I've only had a couple of them, trust me. I've used $100 bills at the back of my books. Like, I would not spend that bill or on anything until I was done with the book. And I will admit, one time, I was so close to the end of the book, and there's paint. And we're sitting there, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm reading a book." And they're like, Well, why? I'm 3 pages away from being able to spend the $100 bill. Let me read. And I finished it, and I had a nice day that day. How about a couple movies and a game? So instead of talking, let's read and start talking. Because I spent the last 10 minutes doing this. Are you ready, kids? And if you are a kid and watching this, at least you're learning a little bit. In some ways. Let's see. For Mom, who calls me Pickle, and Dad, who calls me Dude. I'd be that dad. Hey, dude, what are you doing? I'm just leaving, Dad. No, bud, you need to go back and do your homework. I will take pictures of the book a little bit, and because there's some maps in here. It's hard to read. Hard to see, but there are maps. At least one map in here. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. I'm pretty much fucked. That's my considered opinion. Fucked. 6 days into what should be the greatest month of my life, and it's turned into a nightmare. I don't even know who will read this. I guess someone will find it eventually. Maybe 100 years from now. For the record, I didn't die on Soul 6. Actually, I probably should have read that first. Yeah, I really should have read it. At the top, it says log entry Soul 6 right under Chapter 1. And I probably should have read that first. But, sorry. I'll do better. I didn't die on Soul 6. Certainly the rest of the crew thought I did. And I can't blame them. Maybe there will be a day of national mourning for me. And my Wikipedia page will say, Mark Watney is the only human being to have died on Mars. And it'll be right. Probably. Because I'll surely die here, just not on Soul 6, when everybody thinks I did. Let's see. Where do I begin? The Ares program, mankind reaching out to Mars to send people to another planet for the very first time and expand the horizons of humanity, blah, 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 blah. The Ares 1 crew did their thing and came back heroes. They got the parades and fame and the love of the world. Ares 2 did the same thing in a different location on Mars. They got a firm handshake and a hot cup of coffee when they got home. Ares 3, well, that was my mission. Okay, not mine per se. Commander Lewis was in charge. I was just one of her crew. Actually, I was the very lowest ranking member of the crew. I would only be in command of the mission if I were the only remaining person. What do you know? I'm in command. I wonder if this log will be recovered before the rest of the crew die of old age. I presume they got back to Earth all right. Guys, if you're reading this, it wasn't your fault. You did what you had to do in your position. I would have done the same thing. I don't blame you, and I'm really glad you survived. Jeez. Stuck on the planet. Actually, I'll read it through his perspective. So, I'm stuck alone on a planet. God damn it! God damn it! Okay. Let me get to the next paragraph. I guess I should explain how Mars missions work. For any layman who may be reading this, we got to Earth orbit the normal way. Through an ordinary ship to the Hermes. All of the Ares missions use Hermes to get to and from Mars. It's really big and costs a whole lot, so NASA only built one. Once we got to Hermes, 4 additional unmanned missions brought us fuel, supplies, and while we prepared for our trip, once everything was a go, we set out for Mars, but not very fast. Gone are the days of heavy chemical fuel burns and trans-Mars injection orbits. Now, for people who ain't, always familiar with space stuff, that is it. You're burning your engines. It's just, you give it gas. Now, for trans-Mars injection orbits, that basically means they're piloting to it. And it's very complicated. I don't know it all. I'm not a know-it-all. I know the basics of how it kind of works. And even the basics are very, very, very hard. Well, depending on if you're used to this stuff. Like, I can't. I'm horrible at chemistry, and I just now can start doing basic. I can now do advanced and complex balancing of chemical equations, which is very weird, and I don't like it. But I can do it. Let's get back to the reading. Hermes is powered by ion engines. They throw argon out the back of the ship. It makes back of the ship really fast to get a tiny amount of acceleration. And there's a lot, and you get very little. The thing is, it doesn't make much reactant mass, so a little argon and a nuclear reactor to power the things, yeah. Shit, I'm a horrible reader. I am so sorry, but at least I'm trying. Because I don't want to sit here and be like, see, I wish you were reading it. No, I'm actually going to read it to you. Because I've looked at reviews, and I've wished people would have read this to me. And, it's nice to at least get some reading. At least someone reading it. And I'm not going to be normal. I'm not going to be a normal person about it. So a little argon in a nuclear reactor to power things lets us accelerate constantly the whole way there. You'd be amazed at how fast you can get going with a tiny acceleration over a long time. That's true, you can go really fast over a long period of time. I could regale you with the tales of how we had great fun on the trip, but I won't. I don't feel like revealing or reliving it right now. And that would suck, being the only man on Mars, just reminiscing. Suffice it to say, we got to Mars 124 days later without strangling each other, and that would be horrible. Don't do that. Don't strangle each other in space, guys. From there, we took the MDV, the Mars Descent Vehicle. To the surface, the MDV is basically a big can with some light thrusters and parachutes attached. Its sole purpose is to get 6 humans from Mars orbit to the surface without killing them in any without killing any of them in any way. And now we can, and now we come to the real trick of Mars exploration, having all of our shit there in advance. A total of 14 unmanned missions deposited everything we would need for surface operations. They tried their best to land all the supply vessels in the same general area, and did a reasonably good job. Supplies aren't nearly so fragile as humans and can hit the ground really hard, but they tend to bounce around a lot. Naturally, they didn't send us to Mars until they confirmed that all the supplies had made it to the surface and their containers weren't breached. Start to finish, including supply missions, the Mars mission takes about 3 years. In fact, there were Ares 3 supplies en route to Mars, while the Ares 2 crew were on their way home. The most important piece of the advanced supplies, of course, was the MAV, the Mars Ascent Vehicle. That was how we would get back to the Hermes after the surface operations were complete. The MAV was soft landed as opposed to sorry about that. The MAV was soft landed as opposed to balloon bounce fests the other supplies had. Of course, it was in constant communication with Houston, and if there had been any problems with it, we would have passed by Mars and gone home without ever landing. The MAV is pretty cool. Turns out, though, a neat set of chemical reactions with the Martian atmosphere. For every kilogram of hydrogen you bring to Mars, you can make 13 kilograms of fuel. That's actually pretty cool. It's a slow process, though. It takes 24 months to fill the tank. That's why they sent it long before we got there. You can imagine how disappointed I was when I discovered the MAV was gone. That would be horrible. Just imagine. Just looking out that window and thinking, oh shit, they're gone. It's actually pretty damn good. I'm glad I made that. I'm really glad I made that. I might have some more. I hope I have more. Let's see. It was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous sequence of events that led to, well, me almost dying. And an even more ridiculous sequence that led to me surviving. The mission is designed to handle sandstorms gusts up to 150 kilometers per hour or kilometers per hour. It's one of the two. It's kmph, and I can't remember if it's kilometers or kilometers. I believe it's kilometers per hour. I'm horrible at metric. I'm sorry for all you guys that live in like England and Europe. I'm horrible at it. Just remember, at least I'm trying. Actually, I really do need to learn. I have sticky notes. I'm going to use them a lot more. Kilometers per hour. So Houston got understandably nervous when we got, well, whacked with 175 kilometer per hour winds. We all got in our flight suits and huddled in the middle of the hab, just in case it lost pressure. But the hab wasn't the problem. The MAV is a spaceship. It has a lot of delicate parts. It can put up with storms to a certain extent, but it can't just get sandblasted forever. After an hour and a half of sustained wind, NASA gave the order to abort. Nobody wanted to stop a month-long mission after only 6 days, but if the MAV took any more punishment, we'd all have gotten stranded down there. We had to go out in the storm to get from the hab to the MAV. That was going to be the risky, but that was going to be risky. But what choice do we have? Everyone made it but me. Our main communications dish, which relayed signals from the hab to the Hermes, acted like a parachute, getting torn from its foundation and carried with the torrent along the way. It crashed through the reception antenna array, and well, then one of those long and thin antennas slammed into me. And first, it tore through my suit like a bullet through butter. That would suck. A bullet through butter? Just imagine. That hurt like a bastard. And I felt the worst pain of my life as it ripped open my side. I vaguely remember having the wind knocked out of me. Pulled out of me, really. And my ears popping painfully as the pressure of my suit escaped. The last thing I remember was seeing Johansson helplessly reaching out toward me. Now, that would suck. Like, just you getting knocked away. That would be the worst. Because then you'd just be flying. Yeah, I'll read a couple chapters. It's a good book. So it's probably going to be like an hour-long video. Yeah. I woke to the oxygen alarm in my suit, a steady, obnoxious beeping that eventually roused me from a deep and profound desire to just fucking die. The storm had... Shit. Can't remember the word. Abated. Yeah. The storm had abated. I was forced down, almost totally buried in sand. As I groggily came to, I wondered why I wasn't more dead. The antenna had enough force to punch through the suit and my side, but it had been stopped by my pelvis. So there was only one hole in the suit, and one hole in me, of course. I had been knocked back quite a ways and rolled down a steep hill. Somehow I landed face down, which forced the antenna to a strongly oblique angle. That, well, put a lot of torque on the hole in the suit. It made a weak seal. Then the corpus... Yeah. Then the copious blood from my wound trickled down toward the hole. As the blood reached the suit of the site of the breach, the water in it quickly evaporated from the airflow and the low pressure, leaving a gunky residue behind. More blood came in behind it, and all was also reduced to gunk. Eventually, it sealed the gaps around the hole and reduced the leak to something the suit could counteract. The suit did its job admirably. Sensing the drop in pressure, it constantly flooded itself with air from my nitrogen tank to equalize. Once the leak became manageable and it only had to trickle new air and slowly to relieve. Sorry, I got an itch. Shit, where was I? To relieve the air loss. After a while, the CO2, carbon dioxide, absorbed in the suit was expended. No. After a while, the CO2, carbon dioxide absorbers in the suit were expended. That's holy shit. My nose just itches. It's only when you can't do it you want to itch it. That's the really limiting factor of life support. Not the amount of oxygen you bring with you, but the amount of carbon dioxide you can remove. In the hab, I have the oxygenator, a large piece of equipment that breaks apart CO2 to give the oxygen back. But the spacesuits have to be portable, so they use a simple chemical absorption process with expandable filters. Or expendable. Yeah, expendable filters. I had been asleep long enough that my filters were useless. The suit saw this problem and moved into an emergency mode the engineers called bloodletting. Having no way to separate out the carbon dioxide in the suit, the suit deliberately vented air to the Martian atmosphere, then backfilled with nitrogen. Between the breach and the bloodletting, it quickly ran out of nitrogen. All it had left was my oxygen tank. So it did the only thing it could to keep me alive. It started backfilling with pure oxygen. I now risk of dying from oxygen toxicity. Yes, people, that is true. Humans will take in way too much oxygen, and you basically die. And I'm not sure about how, but I'm pretty sure you feel like you're drunk or high or one of the two. And nitrogen's very bad. You can't breathe nitrogen. Nitrogen displaces oxygen. So too much nitrogen, you die. Though oxygen in the atmosphere here on Earth is like, I think 78%. The atmosphere is 78% nitrogen. So kind of weird, but it's still the truth. So don't blame me. Blame the atmosphere. But blame nitrogen if you can't breathe. Or carbon, depending on what the problem is. Bloodletting, pure oxygen. Yeah. Oxygen toxicity. As the excessively high amount of oxygen threatened to burn up my nervous system, lungs, and eyes, an ironic death for someone with a leaky spacesuit, too much oxygen. Every step of the way would have had beeping alarms, alerts, and warnings, but it was the high oxygen warning that woke me. The sheer volume of training for a space mission is astounding. I'd spent a week back on Earth participating in emergency spacesuit drills. I knew what to do. Carefully reaching to the side of my helmet, I got the breach kit. It's normally more than a funnel. It's nothing more. Sorry. I'm horrible at fucking reading. It's nothing more than a funnel with a valve at the small end and an unbelievably sticky resin on the wide end. The idea is you have the valve open and stick the wide end of the hole. The air can escape through the valve so it doesn't interfere with the resin, making a good seal. Then you close the valve. And you've sealed the breach. The tricky part is getting the antenna out of the way. I pulled it out as fast as I could. Shit, now I lost my place. I can't remember where I was. Yeah. I pulled it out as fast as I could. Want, fuck, I hate these words. Words I haven't seen before is my problem. And I've read it before, so it's... See, if I don't know the meaning of it, it's really hard... Of a word, it's really hard for me to do it. To read it. Wincing as the sudden pressure dropped dizzied me and made the wound on the side scream in agony. I got the breech kit over the hole and sealed it. It held the suit, backfilled the missing air, and yet more oxygen. Checking my arm readouts, I saw the suit was now at 85% oxygen. That is very bad. For reference, Earth's atmosphere is about 21%. I'd be okay so long as I didn't spend too much time like that. I stumbled up the hill back toward the hab. As I crested the rise, I saw something that made me very happy, and something that made me very sad. The hab was intact. Yay! And the MAV was gone. Boo. Right. That moment I knew I was screwed. But I didn't want to just die out on the surface. I limped back to the hab and fumbled my way into the airlock. As soon as it equalized, I threw off my helmet. Once inside the hab, I doffed the suit and... Well, doffed. Yeah. Donned is put on, doffed is take off, I believe. It's really hard because doffed is DOFFED. So, kind of confused me for a second. Shut the fuck up. I hear you laughing over there through the damn screen. I doffed the suit and got my first good look at the injury. It would need stitches. Fortunately, all of us had been trained in basic medical procedures. The hab had excellent medical supplies. A quick shot of local anesthetic. God damn it. A quick shot of local anesthetic. Irrigate the... Yeah. God, why am I just so awful today? A quick shot of local anesthetic. Irrigate the wound. 9 stitches and I was done. It'd be taking antibiotics for a couple of weeks, but other than that, it'd be fine. I knew it was hopeless, but I tried firing the communications array. No signal, of course. The primary satellite dish had broken off, remember? Doy. And it took reception, and it took the reception antenna with it. The hab had a secondary and shit, I can't remember that word. A secondary and tertiary? Can't remember how to pronounce it. A second and tertiary, that's called tertiary. Had a second and tertiary communication system, but they were both just for talking to the MAV, which would use its much more powerful system to relay to Hermes. Thing is, that only works if the MAV is still around. Yeah, that took off, Mark. It's not coming back. I had no way to talk to Hermes in time I could locate the dish out on the surface, but it would take weeks for me to rig up any repairs, and that would be too late. In an abort, Hermes would leave orbit within 24 hours. The orbital dynamics made the trip safer and shorter. The earlier you left, so why wait? Checking out my suit, I saw the antenna had plowed through my biomonitor computer. And a biomonitor computer is just, it reads your heartbeat. It reads, your things. Your udder is pumping. Your lungs are filling with air. So on and so forth. It reads that stuff. Basically says, hey, he's alive. He has a pulse. When on an EVA, all the crew suits are networked so we can see each other's other status. The rest of the crew would have seen the pressure in my suit drop to nearly zero. It also does more. I'm just a complete idiot today. Don't listen to me except for me reading. Seeing the pressure in my suit drop to nearly zero, followed immediately by my biosigns going flat. Add to that watching me tumble down the hill with a spear through my side, through me in the middle of a sandstorm. Yeah, me tumbling down the hill with a spear through my in the middle of a sandstorm. Yeah, they thought I was dead. How could they not? They may have even had a brief discussion about recovering my body, but regardless, But regulations are clear. In the event of a crewman dies on Mars, he stays on Mars. Leaving his body behind reduces weight for the MAV on the trip back. That means more disposable fuel and a larger margin for error for the return thrust. No point in giving that up. No point in giving that up for sentimentality. Or sentimentality. I'm an idiot. So that's the situation. I'm stranded on Mars. I have no way to communicate with Hermes or Earth. Everyone thinks I'm dead. I'm in the hab designed to last 31 days. If the oxygenator breaks down, I'll suffocate. If the water reclaimer breaks down, I'll die of thirst. If the hab breaches, I'll kind of explode. If none of those things happen, I'll eventually run out of food and starve to death. So, yeah, I'm fucked. Now, in the sense of keeping up with this, I will read it more. I'll read more of it. But I'm not going to read it right now. I'll read more. This is episode 1. That was chapter 1. Next is chapter 2. And if they're short chapters, and I don't take nearly an hour to read it, or talking about it, both, if it don't take an hour, I will definitely read another. But I'll give me an hour unless I'm reading another chapter. I want to get at least a full chapter in. So if I'm in the middle of one, I'm not going to stop in the middle, make you wait. I'm going to read to the chapters. So, what do you guys think? Leave a comment. What do you want me to do differently? If you want me to stop talking, I'll stop talking to the end. I probably should do that anyway. If you want to start talking about it, I'm more than happy. Please don't badmouth me. I'll take away the comments, and I don't want to do that. I love hearing the comments. I love the likes, too. You know, likes and comments are what I live off of for now. Actually, that is what I live off of. But, still. Just comment. Give it a like. Say, hey, you're doing a great job. Follow me on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I do another video. Love you guys. Well, yeah. You guys are awesome. I gotta love you. See you guys later. Have a good night.